I, f24, feel so violated by what my husband, m31, did to me. I genuinely have no idea how to feel. Me, f24, and my husband, m31, have been married only a few months. We've been together for 3 years total though. Our relationship is really good. Until yesterday. I don't want to be too graphic here, but basically last night, I was sleeping with a night silk dress thing on, and I was laying on my front. I'm a really heavy sleeper. Like you have to shake me to wake me up. And I woke up to the feeling of my husband literally putting his inside of me. I obviously was startled and not okay with it, and I honestly don't know why, but it brought tears to my eyes. I went to the bathroom to situate myself and everything, and when I came out he told me I was overreacting and that he was just trying something new. I told him it just wasn't okay to do. But he said it was fine because he had implied consent because we had sex prior to going to sleep. And I'm his wife. I don't understand what made him think it was okay. Because it's not okay, right? He's my husband. Yes. And we have sex often. But I don't know if it's okay for him to just do that to me. I wouldn't do that to him. I feel so weirdly violated. And I also know it's wrong because I'm posting here and not telling my sister or best friend. I just don't know what to do. I can't leave my husband. Do I have to leave my husband? Being your husband doesn't give him permission to access your body how and whenever he pleases. You're not overreacting. That is an awful thing to do. I am so sorry. My husband did something similar to me in June, and you feel like a boss after because you realize that this person sees you as not a person with a voice but a warm body available anytime he wants. It isn't okay. You feel weirdly violated because you were violated. What your husband did is marital rape. You did not give him consent. Being married is not consent. Having sex right before you went to bed is not consent. Having sex often is not consent. The only thing that is consent is you saying yes to him asking you if you are okay with whatever sexual act. The fact he said you are overreacting rather than owning that what he did was wrong is extremely concerning. You don't have to leave him, but I urge you to. And I also urge you to reach out to those close to you that you can trust and confide in them. This is sexual assault. I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm so sorry. This is a kink of mine actually. Me being the waking up to it one. Which is why I know damn well that this is something that should only be done if it's been discussed in advance and rolling consent has expressly been given. Even with my consent, some partners have been hesitant to do this because they feel the gut reaction that your husband should have had, which is that it's wrong to have sex with someone when they're unable to consent. Now, it could have been an honest mistake if your husband is a complete troglodyte, and it could have maybe been forgivable had he immediately felt remorseful and apologized to you sincerely and profusely. However, his notion that he was entitled to do this and abject disregard for how this impacted you speaks volumes. Completely indecent behavior and a clear demonstration of just how selfish and unbothered by your suffering he is. You were violated and you have the right to take that as far as you want. At only 3 months, you could potentially get an annulment on these grounds. At the bare minimum, because it's not our place to tell a SAW victim how to feel about or deal with their experience. Beyond the basics, I would suggest that counseling is mandatory. Couples and for him individually. I fear for you having a partner that does not understand the concept of consent and basic bodily autonomy. So if you really want to stay with him, it's paramount that is rectified. You just got raped by your husband. Was this the first time he's done something of this nature, like touch you in a place you don't want to be touched, and he brushes it off with the fact you're his girlfriend? You could sweep this under the rug and pretend it never happened and try to be with him. But your bodily revulsion to his crime will be like no other. You could, and should, divorce. Imagine you stay and he ups the ante. Today it's rape. Tomorrow it's drugging you to make it easier for himself to rape you. The day after tomorrow it's being abused in multiple forms stacked on top of rape. Be done with this marriage and relationship for your own good. Also see if your state is a one-party consent state. If it is, then record him admitting to the rape and use this as evidence if or when you go to the police to have this reported and documented. He might try to play dumb or be oh so nice to you for the next couple of days to smooth over his own guilt as well as keep you going to the police. Your husband ped you while you were sleeping. There is no implied consent here just because you had sex prior to going to sleep. That's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. And it scares me that he had these excuses already. No, it's not okay for him to do this to you. I strongly urge you to get help. If you're in the US, please contact a crisis center like RAIN. Please be very careful, you are in a vulnerable position right now. Legally that's rape. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Please get counseling and consider leaving him. This is not okay, and the fact he justified it shows this won't be a one-off. OMG, that's rape, and implied consent is no excuse for that. Even if he was gonna try something new, he shoulda said that beforehand. This entire thing is so wrong. His attempt at still justifying it makes me sick. You were assaulted. I am sorry he did that to you. It's not your fault. And he is trying to manipulate you so he can do more of that in the future. Implied consent isn't a thing. Verbal consent is a must. Please get away from him ASAP. Contact the police. Get a divorce. There are places that will be able to help you. You feel weirdly violated because you were extremely violated. If he doesn't comprehend the severity of what he did, like you're the one who's overreacting, the only choice left is to leave him. If there is no comprehension going on in his head during these talks, it's 100% divorce confirmed. It really is divorce worthy now. He more than sexually assaulted you. Fucking leave. That was 100% rape. It doesn't matter what happened before, during, whatever. You did not give consent. Therefore it is rape. And him being your husband changes nothing. Spousal rape is still rape. Your husband thinks it's okay to rape you because you're his wife. Let that sink in. Women literally fought until July 5, 1993 for marital rape to be made illegal in all 50 US states. It's literally been illegal for less time than I have been alive. You feel violated because your husband tried to rape you. You can leave your husband. Sleeping people can't give consent. This is marital rape. The fact that this even happened is appalling. You still have time to annul your marriage. I know all of this is horribly heartbreaking, but you need to get out. If this is happening within the first few months of marriage, there is no telling what he could be capable of years down the line. Things will only go downhill from here. Please keep us updated. I told him it just wasn't okay to do. But he said it was fine because he had implied consent, because we had sex prior to going to sleep. And I'm his wife. I don't understand what made him think it was okay. Because it's not okay, right? Correct. He needed to specifically ask you about having sex with you while you were asleep and getting your consent for it to be okay. Just because you're his wife doesn't mean he has consent to have sex with you whenever he wants. That's marital rape. Just because you had sex with him one time doesn't mean he has consent to have sex with you anytime after. Again, that rape. I would be thinking seriously about leaving, because not only did he do it, When you pointed out it wasn't okay, he doubled down and then told you he thinks he has consent to have sex with you whenever he wants. I would be scared to know when the next time he's going to try and have sex with me without my consent. Which in more blunt words is I'd be worried about the next time my husband would try or succeed in raping me. That is called rape. Stick a dildo in his SS while he's sleeping, and when he wakes up mad say, "I had implied consent." JK. Don't do this. I'm sorry he raped you and I hope you do the right thing and leave this asshole. This is one of the reasons why age gap relationships are usually not a good idea. Is this the first time? Or just the first time you woke up? If he's doing it only on the night where you had consensual sex first, he knowingly raped you, thinking or hoping you wouldn't notice. And if you did wake up, it would be hard to prove physically that you didn't consent. If you accused him, he said, she said, you are with a dangerous man, and now that you know what he did, he may think that as his wife, you never get to say no to him at all. Asleep or awake, tell your sister and your friend, discreetly, and plan to get away from him as soon as you can. Act first. Deal with the fallout from a safe distance. Implied consent is a legal concept usually applied to searches and the operation of vehicles on public roadways, not sexual activity. Unless you said, "Hey, if I'm sleeping, I give you permission to have sex with me," he had sex with you without your consent. That's sexual assault. You feel violated because you were violated. You don't have to leave him. That's your choice. But please consider it. If you do choose to stay, I highly recommend only doing so if he sincerely apologizes, and it's also a good idea to get into marriage counseling if you are interested.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.